Welcome back to All of the Day. It has been a little while. What can I say? Summer break is busy. We have relatives coming in. Setzer's out of town. We decided to just throw something together kind of at the last minute. Personally, I've been playing a lot of games, so I don't really have a prepared to go into all of that. So just know next time I talk about what I've played, you're going to hear a lot of Castlevania talk because I've played a lot of that. And I am currently playing Persona 4 Golden, which we might talk a little bit later on, but that you'll find out. Cheston, what about you? Do you want to talk about anything you've been playing, or do you want to get right to the meat of what we're talking about today?
Well, since I've also mostly been playing Castlevania, I probably shouldn't steal your thunder there.
We'll save our Castlevania mega talk for
Mm.
next time.
Yeah, I downloaded the new Strikers game last night and played a few rounds of that, and it's real good.
Yeah, I'm not surprised to hear that. As you know, I think Strikers on the Wii was pretty much a perfect video game. So all you really had to do was copy that gameplay, and you were going to be fine.
Well, they've really changed up things, so we'll see. But I mean, I don't think it's changes like golf where the changes will be poorly received by you. I think the changes here are going to be mostly positive.
Well, I'm down for changes. Like, before the Switch Mario Tennis game came out, I swore by the N64 one, and the Switch tennis game was vastly different than that, and I prefer it, actually. So sometimes change is good.
Yeah, sometimes.
Sometimes. But just for the record, I did, I played probably the most famous Castlevania Symphony of the Night, and the spoiler alert, I think it holds up to all the praise it got. So you can look forward to hearing that broke down later. I would like Cheston to play it a little bit before we chat, but I know that's probably not going to happen. So
I don't own it. I missed it was a free game at some point and I missed that window. I don't know if I
yes,
didn't own an Xbox at the time or what, but I mean it's only $10.
I say I need you to pay $9.99 and play just a little bit of it.
It is high on my list. It really is.
I'd say it's a legitimate 10 out of 10. So
Not an illegitimate 10 out of 10.
no, not
What
an
would be an illegitimate 10 out of 10?
oh,
Actually.
something that's like pumped up by the media, like Halo Infinite.
Well, that didn't get 10s out of 10s.
Didn't?
I don't think
Overwatch?
so.
Did that get 10s out of 10s?
I mean, it probably got a few, but Overwatch at the beginning was very different than Overwatch now.
It was, but it still had flaws. I don't think it was ever a perfect game.
Oh yeah, it had flaws, but a lot of those flaws had really yet to emerge.
Yeah, I can't think of a good answer to that
Metal Gear
question.
Solid 4?
Yeah, that's a complicated one. Yeah, I think you might be onto something because I think that got a lot of perfect scores based on the name of the game.
Well, and at the time it was really like, oh god. It was gorgeous. It was
People didn't really think about what they were imbibing.
an emotional conclusion to a decade-long saga.
It was a roller coaster.
I mean, I thought it was pretty good, but
It was good.
and back in the day, I mean, I certainly thought it was like amazing. It's only with years that it's slightly been chipped away, though I'm not as sour on it as everybody else, I think.
Well, you don't have a PS3, so you haven't got to re-experience it in a while.
Yeah,
So
it's funny. Like this super important game, you have to have, you know, darn near a 20-year-old console to play.
yeah, I say they need to finally port that so you can get an updated
Oh my
opinion on
god,
it.
is the PS3 nearly a 20-year-old console?
It came out in 2006, I think.
Wow.
So let's get in there. It'll be close.
Jesus. Well, that puts things in perspective.
Yeah, hopefully that'll get ported one day. That way you can have an updated opinion on it. But we gather here today to discuss fake Xbox E3, and then we're going to speculate a little bit on.
Well, it's real Xbox fake E3.
Yes, real Xbox fake E3.
It's not like fake Phil Spencer. Mill Windsor is.
But it's just they put on a conference that would be their E3 conference, but it's not actually E3. And we're going to talk about that, and then we're going to speculate on Nintendo's assumed E3 that's coming up on probably Tuesday or Wednesday. My guess is
think.
Tuesday. We think.
That seems like a good call. Tuesday, I'm feeling Tuesday.
During E3 season, they always did Tuesdays, and Nintendo's
Always
gimmick
Tuesdays?
now is that they don't announce it until the day before. So,
Yeah. And they wouldn't want to overshadow Strikers, which is going to sell 60 million copies. So
yes, pretty much. All right, so let's get started. The show started off with Arcane's Redfall, which is a Left 4 Dead style game. This is not the debut of the game, but it's the official gameplay reveal, and I thought it looked like a Left 4 Dead game.
It looked fine.
Yeah, it looked okay. It was a little quippy for me.
As I would say with a lot of these games, if you put it in front of me and I had nothing else, I mean, I guess I would play it and have an okay enough time. But I
Yeah,
didn't see anything that had me like super stoked to download this to Game Pass, start of next year.
my philosophy on multiplayer games is that you're always gonna have fun with your friends, really. Like unless it's like the worst game ever. This looks like if I were to play it with my wife or with you, I'd have a good time.
It looks kind of low rent. Am I crazy? Like, it doesn't look like super high budget.
It doesn't look super high budget, no. And truthfully, the dialogue was kind of quippy to me. Like they were like
Yeah.
making goofy comments every other step, which is fine. Some games can be that, but I've had enough. That kind of turns me off now.
Yeah.
So
Oh, this is a good time to mention that before this show, I scrawled down some notes on my iPad predictions, and one of my predictions was that Redfall would look less bad.
you were
I think
wrong.
I'm gonna give myself that one. It does look less bad.
I mean, it doesn't look terrible. It just looks like a game.
Yeah, it looks less bad
Yeah.
than it
Okay.
did before.
I'll
So
give you that. The first trailer for it was pretty bad. So
yeah, I mean they didn't really show much.
no, but they
This,
showed enough to annoy me.
I mean, it looked better than what's that Left 4 Dead game? Back for Blood ended up being. Kind of my pause with these games now is I really liked Left 4 Dead, but after playing Back for Blood, I've started to wonder if I really do like Left 4 Dead.
Well, you got to kind of wait for the other foot to drop on these because I feel like Back for Blood's problem was that they expect you to play it too much.
Isn't it usually shoes that drop?
Well, you know what I meant. Because like Back for Blood's problem was that it required constant like playing, and Left 4 Dead was kind of a
Well,
pick up and
yeah.
play. Like you play one round and you can not play for a month, and you're not missing anything really.
Well, it had this stupid RPG system. I mean, I'm sure Redfall will have. I do not think Redfall will be pick up and play by any means.
Games have changed since Left 4 Dead came out. You
Yeah.
can no longer just have a simple pick up and play
But
sort of game.
Redfall is not marketing itself as Left 4 Dead again.
It's
So
not, but
I'll give
that's
it a
what it
pass
is.
on that. I mean, yes, it's more like, Left 4 Dead's like, in the same way that you have Frankenstein and the Mummy. It's like, oh, now we go over to the other Universal Monster universe.
You can't say like this is a Left 4 Dead because they didn't make the original one. So it just feels like they're making a cheap copycat.
It would
So
be very disingenuous, as they said, from some guys who played Left 4 Dead.
yeah, that would be funny.
Comes. I mean, it would be funny, but then I'd also probably be annoyed by it, actually. Like, oh, that's so cheeky.
That's what those parody movies, those really bad ones, did.
Right.
Like,
From the people who
so
saw here. Are you talking about Epic Movie?
yes, yep, I am.
Superhero movie?
From the people who saw Shrek.
What was it?
Uh,
Valentine's? No, that's not. Okay. There's some other ones. They had more. They made a lot of
They
those.
made a lot of them. I know. Meet the Spartans, date movie, epic
Waiting for
movie.
someone to kickstart, the next round of those.
I think they made a Twilight one too, but I forget what that's
They did.
called.
Vampires suck.
Vampires. Oh, okay. Oh, because you get it, they suck blood.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Hilarious.
All right, so next up was the re-reveal. It's been a long time of Hollow Knight Silk Song.
Yeah.
I would say this was the best looking game of the show.
It was the showstopper. It was the second
Showstopper
thing.
the second game, yes. As I've been playing a lot of Castlevania games lately, I am more in the Hollow Knight than I was in the past. It looks beautiful, so I'm going to play the original Hollow Knight at some point before this comes out. This is one of the few things unveiled today that did not have a release date or even a release year. So, but everything on the show was said like 12 months. So my prediction is this comes out exactly 12 months from now on June 12th, 2023.
Hate it. I hate that. I am bummed they didn't have a release date because, unlike you, I don't need to see it. I really felt like it was one of those things that needed to emerge only when it had a date. So my secret hope is that it shows up at a Nintendo show and they have a date, because it was supposed to be a Switch exclusive at launch, and now it appears to not be that. So
Well, it could still be.
I guess it could be. Maybe that's why they didn't have the date, because they didn't want to reveal a date that's like 6 months later, and then Nintendo's like, "Aha, we have it now."
That is possible. May know more on Tuesday. We might not. There's really not much to say about it. Like, it was just a short little gameplay thing.
It
It
looked
looked
really
fun.
looked very. If I were to compare it to the original, I would say it looks faster. Looks more action
Yeah, it looks
focused.
very action focused.
Well, I mean, the first Hollow Knight was action focused, but it's more Soulsian in that it's kind of methodical. This looked a little more fast paced.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. The next thing unveiled was High on Life by Rick and Morty creator Justin Roiland. It looked like Rick and Morty with guns. So
You know, the thing about Rick and Morty is I liked and watched the first 2 or 3 seasons. I don't remember, maybe three. Those were like 30-minute episodes, right?
yeah,
You know, I feel like for 30 minutes I can take that kind of madcap, scatterbrained rambling, but for what would presumably be a 6 to 10 hour experience, I don't know. The trailer had a lot of talking.
so it looked like a little much for a longer video game.
The characters did not stop talking, and I think the guns talk.
Yeah, the guns talk, and they talk in Morty's voice. Like, they don't even change it. So is that just
Well,
his
that's his
voice?
thing. That's all he does. Like
Yeah,
every one of these squanch games that has a trailer, I feel like it's 20 minutes of uh crap. What's his name? Morty.
yeah,
Right,
Morty.
Morty. I was trying to remember if he was Rick or Morty.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Rick's the old one.
he's
Uh,
he's the crazy one.
because Morty is supposed to be like Marty McFly.
Is that really what it is?
Well, yeah, because they have a Back to the Future thing going with those two.
Oh, they do?
Did you not tell?
No.
That's the point. That's the premise of the show.
Is it?
Yeah,
Oh, didn't notice.
yeah. It looks like, I guess if you're into that
I
stuff, it's for you, but it's not for me.
there is not a world where I download this game
No,
and
me
play
neither.
even 2 seconds of it.
Me neither.
Even like the trailers showing up, I was like, nah, nope.
I get annoyed too quickly.
Yeah, nope. Games that try to be funny are usually not very funny. So
No. Agreed. There are exceptions, but yeah, agreed. Next up, Riot Games is coming to Xbox Game Pass. You get League of Legends, all champions unlocked, Legends of Runeterra,
all
whatever.
champions unlocked.
Valorant, all agents unlocked. This looks like Riot crap. I don't care.
I mean, it is right. Crap, it says in
Yes,
the name. It's
I
Riot
know,
Games.
I know.
I don't care about this at all, but I will say that it seems like they must have thrown a lot of money at Riot because that's like the Twitch channel that I was watching this stream on. Somebody said that the League of Legends part alone is like $600
Oh yeah, I don't
of
doubt.
DLC. Yeah, I have no doubts. So I mean, I have no interest in those games at all.
Yeah, I mean this is a good way to play these games if you wanted to,
I'm
and
just gonna say selfishly, I just don't want this to increase the monthly price for Game
I
Pass.
don't either because I'm not going to touch it. If it's going to increase the price, put it in a separate tier,
Right.
the Riot
It
Games tier.
I just don't want it to be like a NSO Sega Genesis situation where Nintendo, without asking anybody if they wanted it, apparently apparently paid large royalties to Sega to get the Genesis on NSO.
We don't know if that's true.
We don't know if it's true, but I believe it.
I hope they wouldn't be so stupid because if you're going to get Sega, you gotta get the Genesis. You gotta
They
do more
didn't
than that.
ask anybody if they wanted Genesis games.
No, well, I
I
would
would
have
have
said
said
no.
no.
I would have said no. Just give me the smaller price for N64.
I would have pointed at like the 30 other re-releases on there and been like, "No, I'm good. I'm covered.
I've played Sonic 2 enough.
I'm glad I have, another way to play Castlevania Bloodlines. It's a very good game, but I don't need to. I'm good."
After that Riot stuff, they showed a Plague Tale Requiem. It looked pretty cool. It
The
showed
sequel to A Plague Tale: Innocence.
this seems more have more combat than Innocence by a fair amount.
It seemed more dynamic. My only problem with the first game was that it always felt like every encounter was very highly scripted in a way that even like the Uncharted games would be like, damn, like, oh, like that's just
Yeah.
really handholdy. It was like, okay, you're definitely gonna grab this item and you're definitely gonna sling a rock at this enemy at this time. Beautiful game. So if they can make a game that's a little more compelling, like I never finished the first one. I really liked my time with it, but as you know, and as anybody who has this podcast on a feed knows, I don't finish much, and that game didn't push me to see it through. So I don't know. I looked at this and said, yeah, I'll try it again. Actually, kind of makes me want to go back and finish the first one because I've probably had like an hour or two left. So
Yeah, my wife
maybe.
really enjoyed the first one. It looked like more of the same,
Yeah,
so I'm sure it'll
but it's.
be.
I mean, it looks a little prettier. I mean,
Yeah,
the characters got more weapons. It's got a
yeah,
crossbow now.
I noticed
So
that.
the original character was very dependent on environmental hazards and mice swarms and you
Yeah,
know
as I said before the show, the first one had excellent rat tech.
yes.
So
This is to me like Mike. I mean, this is not console exclusive. I don't think this one is either. But to me, this is very Last of Us at home. But it does a good
yeah,
job with that. It does a very good job with that, so it's okay.
well, hey, at least you don't got Neil Druckmann launching a remake of Plague Tale One that looks basically like a worse version of the original. But
And getting really passive aggressive about the fact that it leaked the day
yeah,
of, even though it
and
had leaked months before, really. So
was not a new leak. We knew about this game for a while.
I think it was that the pictures got out and he was all flustered about it. Which, come on, man, how could anybody have watched what happened with Capcom and Street Fighter Six and not been like, yeah, that's probably the way we should handle this?
It was funny because Street Fighter Six, as you alluded to, had all of its roster
Right,
leaked
and
like
Capcom was just like,
immediately.
yeah, thanks
Like
for the
whatever.
feedback. We're glad you like it.
It's funny that this happens with Capcom games all the time because I remember when Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3 was announced, and like later that day, the entire roster was leaked.
Yes, I remember that
So
day. I remember being like, Firebrand,
I was like, yes, Phoenix Wright, finally.
Rocket Raccoon. That was pre Guardians of the Galaxy, so I was
So
like,
I was
what?
like, who's this nobody?
Well, pre Guardians of the Galaxy movie, before any comic weirdos yell at me.
Yes, exactly. We're not comic people, so
Yeah.
forgive us. We were excited about the Capcom portion of Marvel vs. Capcom.
Yes, the Marvel portion was always like sweet set dressing, and
Yes,
also a way to play as Spider-Man.
exactly. So next up was Forza Motorsports. We both don't care about this.
Nope.
Like our takeaway, because we were texting during it, was like these people want to have sex with cars, and
And in fact, I think some of them have.
I would bet they have.
So they were showing like the car damage stuff,
Yeah.
and it's like the inverse of the infamous Skyrim clean faces mod.
Oh yeah, the
Like
dirty
these
cars
people just
mod.
getting off. Oh yeah, these cars are so dirty. Oh man, I just wish someone would clean out their scuff marks. Oh yeah. I mean, I will probably play this game because my son is obsessed with cars, and he always asks to watch cars. And I think these are less open worldy than the Horizon game, which I like Horizon. But I don't always want to drive around an open world to go to races.
No,
Like
you want to have a
if I
track.
if there's a game that like had a list of tracks I could go to, that would be pretty cool. And I think these are, but I don't know. I don't play these games yet.
So next up was Microsoft Flight Simulator, adding more
Oh,
planes along with a Halo plane. I guess.
yes, yes.
Don't care.
Everyone's dad is very happy.
That game has been on PC for a long time. Just came to Xbox recently. Like, if you like Flight Simulator, you're probably 50.
Yeah, I played it. Well, played in quotes. Uh, and it looked nice.
I got a buddy that's really into it. He'll just
Yeah,
like get off of work and like make his night around flying to like I don't know Mexico or something.
yeah.
So
I'm glad people are into that. I downloaded it because it was one of those games that people said is like a showpiece, and you should really show people. And I thought, oh, well, I'll just like put this on in the background and have it queue up a flight to some nearby airport for people to gawk at the technology. And honestly, nobody was. I mean, it is impressive technology, so I'm not
yeah,
trying to downplay it, but nobody really cared.
if yeah, it's like impressive technology to people that can understand it. But if you're just like show a person, they probably like off the street, they probably just assume video games are like that now. So Overwatch 2 got a release date, kind of. This is where the playable in 12 months thing came into play. Was like this won't be a finished product, but the early access starts October 4th.
I want to say that they had hinted at this before, but maybe I'm wrong. But I know that they had split off the PvP and PvE content. So this game being um, just the PvP part, to me that was not much of a surprise. I guess I don't know if this is supposed to be a surprise.
Well, I don't know who could possibly care
This
because
is one of 3 games that I will probably play, but it's not like because I'm super excited to play it. It's because I am curious how different it will be, and my suspicion is that it will not be very different.
it looks the same to me. Just 4v4 instead of 5v5.
Isn't it? Wait, I think it's 5v5 instead of 6v6.
Oh, whatever.
4v4 is Splatoon.
It's like one less than what it was.
Yes, and people were mad, and then they didn't care, and then
From what I can see, it looks just the same as Overwatch 1, but with like new
got new characters.
characters. So, like, I don't know who could possibly care, but people probably do. So,
I really don't know. I don't think people care as much as Blizzard would like. I'll be honest.
probably not. Probably not.
And their new their new playable hero they announced. Gosh, I feel like the junkyard aesthetic is so overdone now. It kind of felt like watching a Borderlands DLC trailer or something.
Yeah, I agree.
Just
didn't do anything for me.
I love the character designs in the first game, and that one was like, eh.
Yeah, at this point in the show, I'm like, this is the Derek Poison portion where I'm like rolling my eyes at everything.
Well, that and your wife was poisoning you while you watched it.
Well, she was asleep during this, so
That's what you think.
that's true. The next up was Ara History Untold. I, truth be told, don't remember anything about this other than it was a real-time strategy
it
game.
looked like it might be like I think they used the phrase something like from some of the people behind one of the most coveted
Strategy
historic
games ever.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, obviously it was Civilization. I don't.
Yeah, it looks like Civilization.
It does. In fact, I thought, oh, are they? Is it Civilization 7? We should tell we should tell old Smooty, who's played like 3,000 hours on the Switch.
You can finally get a new game.
Yeah, to finally stop playing Stardew Valley and Civilization 7 or Civilization 6.
It's like finally new content.
Oh, a new game to play.
So they also announced a new Elder Scrolls expansion, or maybe they didn't announce it, but they announced a release date.
Does your wife care?
I don't know. She hasn't played for a couple years, so
Can
maybe
you ask
not.
her?
Hold on, I'll ask. Do you care that they're making a new Elder Scrolls Online expansion? She says not really.
Enough said.
Okay. All right. Yeah, she said they've been pretty steady, like with releases, so it's like nothing new.
Yeah.
But High Isles is what it's called, coming out June 21st to Xbox and PC. So does that mean the PlayStation 1 gets a later expansion? That would suck.
Team Fortress style.
They also announced the Fallout 76 Pit expansion, which is based on the Pit DLC from Fallout 3. It's Fallout 76. I don't know what you want.
Fallout 76 gives me like Disney Star Wars vibes, where it's like they're trying to now like shoehorn everything you know about Fallout previous.
Well, they know
into it.
only like 5 people still play Fallout 76, but those 5 people pay a lot of money.
Like, I'm waiting for there to be DLC that recreates specific Fallout 3 glitches.
Oh, well, the Fallout 76 launch, I'm sure, had those.
Or like a DLC devoted to the original ending of Fallout 3 that made playing the DLC complicated.
I just know that don't know why they waste time at these events for Fallout 76. Like,
I don't
no one watching cares.
They must make some money on it. I don't know how.
Well, that's the same way with like the Elder Scrolls Online. Like, people watching these events probably don't care. Like,
yeah, I agree.
They have audiences. I'm not denying that, but they probably will find it on their own. Like,
that's what I said about the Forza stuff. It's like, I really don't know what you're like. Everybody's very impressed with your cars. Everybody's very impressed with your trucks.
I just quit being impressed with cars a long time ago. Like,
but it's like nobody needs to see it in this show. Like, you're not going to show anybody anything that's going to convince them. Oh yeah, maybe I'll check out the new Forza. You know, the people who are going to play Forza have made an agreement that they will continue to play Forza.
Speaking of that, Horizon 5 is getting Hot Wheels DLC.
Yes, this I am almost absolutely certain to download because my son is now collecting Hot Wheels.
Yeah, so.
And this actually looks super fun. I'm not
picture in your head a Hot Wheels loop-de-doop-de track. You get that in your game.
I think this looks really fun. I am curious to see what this actually looks like.
Apparently, this is based on like Forza Horizon 3 had similar DLC, so this is just like that.
The rumors said Lego DLC, so
That would have been cooler.
That didn't make any sense to me, but I don't know. But
Well,
Hot Wheels, that makes sense.
well, that does make sense. It is cars.
I mean,
Um,
especially like playing some of those Horizon missions. I mean, they don't go to cruising levels of ridiculous, but there's a mission where you race down a volcano as it erupts. No lava trailing behind you, but that kind of thing. So Hot Wheels feels like, having a track where maybe a dinosaur munches part of the track. I don't know how weird they get with it, but I'm into it. It could be that Forza engine is really good. Like the sense of speed in that game is outstanding. So putting some just crazy tracks in there, it might be as close as we get to an F-Zero.
yeah, you might be right, which is kind of sad. I don't know if I can, as a grown man, convince myself to play a Hot Wheels like expansion, but it looks like all right for what it is. Next up is Arc 2, which stars Vin
Hilarious.
Diesel, which I thought was very funny because The Rock showed up at Jeff Keighley's thing. So to keep the rivalry alive, Vin Diesel showed up at the Microsoft's thing. Yeah, I don't know. It's Arc. I don't care.
Yeah, there's dinosaurs. It's one of those. It's one of those things that pops up, and you can just immediately go, "Oh, it's Ark. I
Yeah,
don't care." You see the dinosaurs with their weird little face masks and whatever, and you're like, "Oh,
yeah. Survival has evolved.
hmm
I mean, I hear that Vin Diesel really liked the first one a lot and insisted he be a part of this
that
or
isn't
something.
surprising at all."
Yeah, yeah. For those that don't know, he's a big nerd. He likes Dungeons and Dragons a lot. All right, next is Scorn, which
It's
looks
gross.
like a disgusting horror game.
Yeah, I don't want to play this at all.
Lots of body horror looking stuff.
There's
Yeah,
some like pulling out an umbilical cord at the beginning.
yeah,
It's like just want to take a bath after watching it.
yeah. It's for I don't know. It looked like something for hardcore horror people, but not for me. I'm a little queasy with too
Oh,
much
let's be
gore.
real, man. It looks like it's for sickos and freaks.
for for real weirdos.
Yeah, they should be locked up.
Yeah,
If I see someone playing Scorn, I'm going to call the cops.
yeah. Scorn was gore porn.
About this next game, Flintlock Siege of Dawn,
Yeah,
the only thing I have to say about this game is that it made me think of that DS game, Lock's Quest. I also thought, this was like the point of the conference where I thought, there's a lot of games in here that, like I said earlier, if I had to, I would play them, but I wouldn't go out of my way. And this game looks so incredibly generic. Its name is generic, Flintlock Siege of Dawn.
yes.
The hell
It
does that mean?
looks. I'm actually unsure what to make of it. Part of me thinks it has like almost Bloodborne style combat with the melee followed by like the simple shooting, but it's looks nowhere near as difficult. But
Looks
it's
dime a
like a 2 minute
dozen to
trailer.
me.
Yeah, it
Like
looks like a game.
it looks like the kind of game that you see on the coming soon tab of Game Pass and go, oh, well, too bad I've got 30 other games on Game Pass I'm gonna play first.
Yeah, it's one of those things where I watched it and I actually had to run a 2 times speed trailer while I was talking to remember much about it.
Real Lords of the Fallen energy.
Yeah, it's a game. Next one was Minecraft Legends. Don't care. So this was Mojang. I was like, I don't care about this.
Mojang?
Mojang.
Thank you.
It's funny that they were like saying like a new game because I'm thinking like, oh, maybe like a new IP. No, no, same shit. It's Minecraft. Apparently, this is like a tactical game.
It's like I heard somebody compare it to
XCOM, maybe.
no Brutal Legend, which
Oh, well,
well,
interesting, I guess.
I'm so like my least favorite part of pretty much every PS2/PS3 era action platformer is the part where the game makes you play a like light real time strategy.
Yeah.
Like every Ratchet and Clank has the section where Clank is in control and you have to like guide these little robots and do stuff. Every time I get bored.
The most telling bit of that gimmick was that Spore included an RTS segment.
Right.
So that just means it was in everything.
Yeah, and I've played Brutal Legend and I remember getting to the part where it becomes a real time strategy and just how immediately all of my enthusiasm drained out of me. Don't know why people keep doing that. I also, for the record, hated Minecraft Dungeons, so I suspect that this like that will be boring.
Art style just turns me off. Minecraft is instant
And
skip for me.
I don't hate the art style. I don't know. I think for me it's the animation. The way those blocky characters animate. Like if I play Minecraft, it's fine, but when it goes to other genres, I just hate the way that it looks. And I just like dungeons to me. It was very off-putting in the way that your character moved. And you kind of need your action RPG characters to look cool when they're doing stuff.
Yes,
I think, but
it is
that's
important.
just
I
me.
agree with that.
But I think Minecraft Dungeons has made a bajillion dollars, so I understand why they would do more.
No, you got to keep doing Minecraft stuff. It makes money. The kids like it.
You can't
Um,
expand on Minecraft. Well, actually, they do expand on Minecraft all the time.
so next up is Lightyear Frontier, which to me looked like a mech farming game.
It is the strangest game I've ever seen on a stream. I saw
Yeah,
this. The mech looked like it was like phasers set to kill, and then it like pulled out hoses and watered some crops.
yeah, that was
So
weird.
yeah,
I kind of liked that.
I actually thought it was a No Man's Sky thing at
That's
first,
what I did too.
and I was like, "Oh, No Man's Sky," or that it was a sneaky banjo reveal, and he was gonna pop out of the ship.
Like, oh yeah, well, that's what I was worried. The Mojang thing I was gonna be like, oh no, did they give Banjo to
Yeah,
Mojang?
I did have that thought, but I was like, no, there's it. I mean, nuts and bolts was a little blocky
Well,
looking, but
but not
not
that
that
blocky.
blocky.
But I think this is an interesting concept. I don't understand what the difference between doing farming out of a mech and doing farming in a mech would be. But
Well,
well, you can
I
carry
would
more.
imagine it's the difference between doing farming by hand and doing farming by
Well,
a
yeah,
tractor.
but it's a video game, so like farming in video games already is not realistic. So
Well, yes,
I don't know. Like I kind of like the idea. Like it's weird. So
yeah.
I want to see more of
This
it.
one I would totally play if I heard it was good.
Yeah, well, it'll be on day one Game Pass, I'm sure.
Well, I
So
think all of these are. So
yeah, so I'll at least try it. Next up is Gunfire Reborn,
I won't try this.
which to me looks like a PS2 game, kinda. Like there was something specific I was thinking of, but I'll just say like
I
I
think I know what
Ninja
you're talking about.
or
It's
or
like a
what?
little game with these little kung fu characters fighting.
Yeah, yeah,
I think it's an
kinda.
Xbox game.
But I don't know. Like I'll just say like I Ninja or something, like something cheap, something that like costs looks like it costs like $20 to make.
God, now I'm gonna be thinking about that game.
I saw a character in it that I thought was Blinks the Time Sweeper, so I was like briefly like, "Oh, are they gonna put some Microsoft IP in this?" But no, it's just
Microsoft Smash,
a cat.
starring Blinks and
Banjo Conquer.
Banjo. You can't just have a game full of characters you don't use anymore.
Yeah, well, no, you can't because that would make people want to see games from them.
Yes, that would be a shame if that happened, wouldn't it?
The next game is what we like to call Cheston Bait, the last case of Benedict
Why is it
Fox.
Cheston bait?
This seems like something you would like, and then when you immediately said you were interested in it, I was not
Yeah,
surprised.
it's got like detective stuff going on, like supernatural detective.
Yeah, it
Uh,
looks like I don't know, almost like a Metroidvania detective game. Is what the
uh,
trailer looked like to me.
yeah, I mean, I think part of it was like, do you remember that episode of How I Met Your Mother where they had that mermaid theory? Where
Yeah.
it's like, yeah, so it's kind of that. Whereas like, there's so much in this conference that I didn't care about that something that even remotely was to my liking was like, whoa, way
Oh,
elevated.
it looks
But it
cool.
looks good. Looks good.
Yeah, I got no complaints about that.
I will check this one out.
Yeah, I will too. Probably it looks neat.
Anyways, back to Tom Goes to the Mayor.
So yeah, the next game, as you absolutely pointed out, looks like Tom Goes to the Mayor, but with a different art style. It's called As Dusk Falls.
Absolutely
Um,
also play this game.
I don't know what they were thinking with putting this art style in a game. Like it looks jarring.
Yeah, I want to play it. I think that's gonna be weird.
But if you have ever seen the show Tom Goes to the Mayor, that is what the art like looks like in motion.
I
Like it
think
just
it'll be
looks.
hard to take seriously because it seems like a very serious game, but
It does.
you have all these characters. Like it's just, your brain cannot help but go back to the mayor, and Tom's goes back to the mayor, or that episode where Michael Ian Black is on. And you tick tock, ring ding ding ding.
Yes, I just keep thinking of Rats Off to You every time I see. Like it's
I
just I don't
good
know.
on them.
Like I respect that they're trying to make a serious game look like this, but it's I couldn't take it seriously. So
Well, if you really want to talk Cheston bait, setting a game in a motel in the desert, and having a game about family secrets. I mean, it has Dusk in the title, man.
that's
It's
true.
they, it doesn't look like Hotel Dusk, but it made me think about Hotel Dusk.
So did you play Dust and Elysian Tale, which is not Dusk but Dust?
Isn't Dust and Elysian Tale the one with the furries?
It's a furry game, yeah.
I did play that, but I only played for like an hour because I thought it was kind of boring. Also, I'm not a furry.
Oh, sure,
No
whatever you
offense
say.
to any furries.
So the next game is Naraka Blade Point or
Looks like a
Naranja
free to
Blade Point.
play game
Looks like an
made
arena
in
fighter
China.
to me.
Yes, but I could see like if the trailer had ended with like Nexus coming up on the screen, I'd be like, oh yeah,
Like, if you've ever played like an anime game released in the last 20 years, uh, I'm specifically thinking of like Naruto Ultimate Ninja Storm or something. It looks kind of similar in gameplay to that.
they had a lot of games in this.
They sure did.
I'm now realizing.
They did well because most of the trailers are like a minute long.
Yeah, they were very very short.
Because like they did go
Not
into in depth on some stuff, but uh, what do you know? So after Naranja Blade Point was Pentiment, which is by Obsidian Entertainment. This looked really interesting, I felt.
Yes, I would say it is a game that I will absolutely play. But if I were Microsoft, I would not have put this in a fake E3 showcase
No, it's
because the people tuning into this probably saw that and are like, "What is this?
they probably
What is
saw it in
this
like
shit?"
indie garbage or
Yeah, I
something.
mean,
But
and when I saw Obsidian pop up, I was very surprised. Like,
well, the second Obsidian popped up, like, all right, I'm paying attention. But it looks cool. I don't know,
it
like,
actually looks like there's a game on Switch now that I played a demo for that's pretty cool, called Card Shark, which has a very similar aesthetic. So this must be like the thing now, making storybook-ish looking narrative adventures.
yeah, it was hard for me to pinpoint a gameplay style.
I will play this.
If I had to guess, like maybe like that one World War One visual game.
This
Uh,
War of Mine,
yeah,
or
I
no,
think
no, 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 Valiant Hearts.
yeah, I think maybe it might play kind of like that. I don't know. It looks neat though. It's something I'll check out.
Yes, I too.
But unfortunately, on the other side is the Obsidian scale is Grounded, which on paper sounds like something I'd be into because it looked like a.
You know this game is
Uh,
like 2 years old, right?
I understand, but I didn't
Okay, just make
remember it.
sure. Like they,
Because like I saw people talking like, oh yeah, I haven't seen this one in a while, but it's like a Honey I Shrunk the Kids style looking game, which seems
playable.
cool.
It's been playable for a very long time.
Has it?
Yeah, it's on Game Pass.
Wow.
It's been in game preview, so I guess now is actually releasing,
It's
which I don't
leaving
know
game
what that.
preview in
I
September.
really don't know what it means to be on something like Game Pass and then leave game preview. To me, it's like the game is out. It's just out. I don't know. That's me.
What I took away from this is that they copied Claptrap from Borderlands for some reason. Why? Everyone hates that guy. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me. But as you said, this game is old news. So,
Old
but
news.
it doesn't look like my cup of tea, despite being Obsidian. So, Arabin Shadow Legacy, not to confuse with Raid Shadow Legends, was showed next. It looked cool. It's a fast, like a stealth game. It kind of gave me Dishonored vibes, but they didn't really. It was a very short trailer. You can't really form much of an opinion on that.
And I have not.
Yes, yeah, I could tell. Next, Diablo 4. I think is this the first we've seen gameplay from it?
Don't think so. I think they showed it ages ago. Maybe even nah. I was gonna say pre-pandemic, but not pre-pandemic. But I think we've seen something because I know that like the game being darker looking is not news.
Well, after the rainbow and unicorns filled Diablo 3, I'm not surprised.
Yes, the quote unquote rainbow gayness. Their words, not mine.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean this looked like Diablo with like what would happen if you waited 10 years and made a new Diablo.
Yeah, it looked like a larger scale
You
Diablo
know,
to me.
then more going on. This is one of the other games I will probably play, but mostly because my wife really liked Diablo 3 when we played that together.
I'll give it a chance. It's on Game
Yeah,
Pass, I
I mean,
assume.
I'm
So,
pretty soured on action RPGs, period. So
well, Diablo 3 was too brain dead.
generally don't care. Yeah, it was too
So.
there. I think the Diablo games are way, way, way too simple. It's like everyone knows that video games are just tricks played on your brain, but they're not always so naked about it. And
Yeah.
Diablo's just kind of like very brazen with how it presents itself. So it's kind of off-putting to me, but I mean, yeah, I'll try it. It's on Game
Yeah,
Pass.
it's on Game Pass. I'll give it a shot, but
It
I'm
will
sure
probably be okay as the
it'll,
co-op thing, I
it'll probably
guess.
I would say, well, yeah, fun with friends. It'll be competently made. I'm positive of that. Sea of Thieves has gotten some new content. We
Still
don't really
going.
play that.
Still going after all these years.
Yeah, still going. This
Very
is the point.
successful.
This is the point of the show because it's a rareware game. I thought, oh, we're getting that banjo rumor next, and then we did not get that. We got Ravenlock.
This is where I should address the other prediction. One of the other predictions I had on here, which is no banjo
And
in
you were right.
parentheses yet. Um, reason being that the rumor originated from a podcast that I sometimes listen to, and even they were just say, I mean, they did predict it would be there, but it was based on scuttlebutt from GDC and you know inner discussions among developers, and I just thought that's all very. To me, that sounded like something that's very early in the process. So my suspicion is in 2 years there will be a new Banjo game. But I think we're at least a year from a debut, if not longer.
I was hearing more smoke about banjo than I'm used to because I feel like every year there's a banjo rumor, so I kind of take that with a grain of salt. But this year it felt like there was more to it. So I was a little let down there wasn't one, but I wasn't surprised.
I'll be here for it when it happens, but I do think it's at least 2 years. You know, my real hope is that they're waiting for their sale, the purchase of Activision Blizzard to go through so they can free Toys for Bob from the Call of Duty mines or whichever mines they're in, and have them make it. I don't know that it'll have. I would even take just a remake of the games.
I
Not
would
that the
too.
first game needs a remake, but boy, Tui
Tui could use a
really use
remake
a
to make it
remake.
good.
Yeah, they could really do a lot to make Tui better. But alas, I'll take
Alas.
whatever I can get. I just hope it's not nuts and bolts.
So instead, after Sea of Thieves, we got Ravenlock, which
Which
looked like a video game.
looks alright.
It's an action-packed fairy tale, is what the
Yeah.
description for it
Oh,
is.
it looked like something I would try.
Yeah, it looked all right.
As does the next game, Cocoon. I'll try it.
It's another one where I can't really say much about it.
No,
It,
there was not much shown that would like I don't know. So it's from the it says developed by the gameplay designer of Limbo and Inside. Limbo and Inside had very distinctive styles that immediately grabbed. Cocoon doesn't, from what I can tell. So I guess we'll see. I
yeah,
guess now that I see a gameplay designer, that isn't really what people came to those games for. So maybe
no,
that's
it's
not
not.
maybe that's not quite the humble brag it's supposed to be.
People
I
went
mean,
to those games for art
I
style.
like Inside quite a bit, and the
And
gameplay of it was to my liking, but I don't know if that's what I would advertise. But anyways,
that's
that's
not why people came to those.
no,
Um,
no, they had very distinctive art.
so after that, speaking of games, we don't have anything to say about Wolong Final Dynasty. I thought this was Onimusha until they showed, even though that's Capcom and this was Koei Tecmo, but it like I don't know why people are like happy about this trailer. It was like 40 seconds of gameplay. It didn't look like anything like I haven't seen before, so I need to
I
see
mean,
more.
people are always horny for Samurai, man.
I mean, yeah, I like Samurai too,
Look at
but
Ghost of Tsushima sales numbers.
hey, that's a great game. I don't know, like I can't tell you what makes this game special or why people cared about this trailer, but they do. It just looked like a game to me. I hear it looks kind of like Neo, but I haven't played that, so I can't vouch. So
Like I said when we were talking about it beforehand, it's a trailer that's so generic. I could have said it looks like and filled in the blanks with like 30 different things. You'd be like, oh yeah, it kind of does look like that.
yeah, it is a very generic trailer.
It looks. They're making another Dynasty Warriors. Oh no, they're not.
So next was, I would say, the surprise of the show, even though I accidentally predicted it via shitpost. All three, well, not all three, Personas 3, 4, and 5 are
Three
coming to
that
Game
count.
Pass. Yes, the three that count, Persona 3 Portable, Persona 4 Golden, and Persona 5 Royal, all coming to Game Pass. Royal comes out October 21st of this year, and Persona 3 and 4 come out next year. You have officially run out of excuses. You have to
I
play
know.
Persona
God.
now.
Now my only excuse would be like, well, it's not on Switch, but I mean, how many more days do I have until that's true?
I would say you have 2 days until that's true.
Yeah, I, I will say the only thing that's important here, besides the fact that yes, I will play this after Yakuza, is that if this does not precipitate these games being on Switch, then
It's got
Atlas should
to.
win the award for least
For biggest idiots
sensible
ever.
and knowledgeable company in the history of the world. Because if you would put like a straw poll and said, all right, which of these platforms is going to get Persona first? And you had PC, Xbox, and Switch. The order would have been Switch first, then Xbox, then PC.
Nah, you PC
Those
before Xbox. Xbox is like the
no,
least.
I
Yes.
guess that's true. But I mean, Japanese developers hate the PC.
Well, yeah, but Japanese players.
True, that's true. Okay, well, regardless, the Switch would have been everybody's first choice.
Yes, exactly.
It's been rumored since the Switch came out constantly. Just do it. I hope they do it.
Oh, I'm excited more people can play these. Like, this is the first Persona 3 port since the PSP port of Persona 3. so, so I'm glad people are getting to play that because I still think that's my favorite one. I need to replay it because it's been probably a decade. Persona 3 Fez is my favorite of that lot. This is the portable version, but it has a female protagonist and it makes things a little different. So it's neat. I'm glad Xbox people get to play it. Hopefully,
It's
Switch people get to play it too.
very crazy to me that 3 has never been re-released since the PSP.
Yes, it is insane because that was what started the craze or the modern Persona, I should say.
Shin Megami Tensei 5 is on the Switch and
I
nothing
know,
else.
and nothing else, and yet Persona, not only Strikers, as far as I know, is on the
No,
Switch.
that's Mario Strikers. That's
Well,
Nintendo.
yes, I know, but they were
Oh, that's
confused.
right. They made a Persona soccer game.
Yes, they did. Next, Hideo Kojima came out and said, "I'm making a game," and then he left. Okay. I
Yes.
mean, I am a Kojima fan, so he can put out whatever he wants, and I will definitely buy it. Apparently, this is going to take advantage of the cloud, whatever that
Sure it will,
means.
Kojima. He's finally going to bring transfaring to life again.
Apparently, he had a list of actors he wanted for this game, and he got everybody he wanted except for one.
Well, that is terrifying.
And to close the show, we got Starfield, 15 minutes of it. If you close your eyes and think of what Starfield is, you're probably right.
Though you said that you don't remember there being any ladders in this video, and I didn't watch this video, so that was one of my predictions was that they would show ladders in the Starfield video.
I think I saw a ladder, but no climbing of it.
Okay, well, I meant climbing on a ladder, so I can't count that as a win. Before I go through my list, did you have anything like, Starfield?
Well, to me, it looked like a hodgepodge of games. Like it reminded me of how Spore was like a big collection of different genres.
So it's like Skyrim party games?
Kinda. It looked like a mixture of Fallout 4, No Man's Sky for sure, and then there was some like almost Spore like.
I feel like we're
The
living that
creator.
penny arcade comic where they pretend to be wine connoisseurs talking about
Well,
video
maybe
games.
it was like a Chimera game to
A
me.
touch of sim.
I would say the gummy ship combat from Kingdom Hearts.
Yikes.
So
Which
all
one?
sorts. Two. And also the gummy ship building,
Well,
because the
okay.
building of ships looked like gummy ship stuff to
2
me.
was the least bad gummy ship, so I
So
guess that's okay.
this looks like a very ambitious game from a studio I'm very skeptical of. I see this being like No Man's Sky was at launch, where they promise the world and give you nothing. Except for I don't believe Bethesda would make good on their promises like No Man's
So
Sky
just
eventually did.
another Bethesda game then, huh?
Yeah, it looks like a Bethesda game, but they are very ambitious about it. I'll give them that.
Yeah. My big reaction to this show was one, mostly didn't care. But that's personal. I don't think it's like a bad show. I think it's just there wasn't a lot for me, which makes sense. And Xbox is very much my distant second platform. So whatever on that front. But my other big thought was like, man, if I were someone who was obsessed with AAA budgets, which I am not, this would not allay any concerns I had about Starfield being delayed to next year.
No,
This this for being in the next 12 months, that's very good wording because there was not a lot of things that said 2022.
no, I would say. I mean, summer 2023 is a pretty safe.
Yeah, I mean you have Tom Goes to the Mayor coming out in July, and then you have like a few other like Plague Tale will come out in November. But those games are very small potatoes. There's nothing if you were that kind of person who thirsts for your big open world, sandboxy, high production value, whatever garbage. Like this is this was absolutely not your show, and you were probably actually really mad about it. Uh, I should say my predictions were hit and miss. Uh, I said no Halo anything, which I was correct about. No Wolfenstein 3, which I was correct about. Making predictions about things not being there is weak, I'll give you, but
It is weak.
Wolfenstein 3 is always brought up, so I felt like it was fair to say. And also, Halo Infinite is, a very big game, so its absence is always notable. I did think that they would show something related to their Indiana Jones game. I felt like it's been a long enough time that it might be at least like teaser material, but no, sadly, so take a loss on that one. And I thought Hellblade 2 would be there, but also
I'm glad it wasn't boring.
I actually, in my notes, it says Hellblade 2 with 3 Z's after it. So I could just lie and say that my prediction was that Hellblade 2 is sleeping and will wake up eventually, but I actually meant that there would be a trailer for Hellblade 2 and most people would be bored.
Yeah,
Because I think Ninja Theory has to be the most highly publicized developer that nobody actually likes.
yeah, I don't
And
like
I
them.
and I say that knowing that there are people who love Hellblade, but I'm gonna tell
Hellblade
you,
sucks. It's
you don't
boring.
actually like Ninja Theory because they've never made a good game in their life. They just have not. I haven't played Hellblade, but
It's boring.
I'm
You
sure
wouldn't
it's
like it.
fine-ish. But I feel like Ninja Theory's best game is a 360 game that literally nobody bought. So yeah,
No, it's Heavenly Sword.
well, that's probably their most famous game, I guess, besides Hellblade. But
No, their most famous game is DMC Devil May Cry.
oh, did they make? Yes. What is it? Yeah, that's like when Microsoft bought them. Everybody's like, "Oh, Ninja Theory." It's like, yeah, all right, sure, buy them. Did they think they were buying Team Ninja?
My opinion on this show was that it was a cornucopia of things. They had
That's fine.
something for everybody.
If this were on a real stage, it would have looked real bad.
Maybe. I just think there was something for everyone. Like if there
Yeah.
was, it wasn't like when I think of the Jeff Keighley conference, which we did not talk about.
Oh,
That was very shooter heavy and a specific kind of shooter
boring.
heavy. Very boring. But it was like one specific kind of game that they showed over and over again.
But it did have the one announcement that overshadowed everything else shown here.
What was that?
That Turtles is coming out on
Oh yeah,
Thursday.
that's true. Hey, game of the year right there.
That's well, it's
Not
right up
even
there,
kidding about
baby.
that.
Nope.
But yeah, this had something for everyone. Like I would say, nothing truly blew me away, but there was a lot of variety, so I appreciated
Yeah.
that.
I mean,
Um,
other than Persona and
Persona was, but yeah, but again,
Silk Song, there's nothing that I would just immediately said, "Oh, I'm going to download this right away." And there's some
yeah,
things I said I might try this, but mostly it was just those two that really stuck out for me
yeah. Silk
personally.
Song was certainly the game of the conference, but it's one of those things like I've seen before. So like,
Yeah,
is
it looks as good as I expected it to look, and I wish they would just tell me when to expect it.
June 12th, 2023.
Also, can we say that saying this your like next 12 months is like that is not um that feels like it should have 3 asterisks after it.
Well, for Overwatch 2
You
specifically.
can't predict that.
Well, I agree with that, but that's what they claim.
To me, like the only time that's okay to say is like when Nintendo does it like, oh, it's only things focused that are coming out this quarter. They know it's coming out this quarter.
That's true. I mean, I feel like they have to be pretty sure. I would hope so.
Yeah, I wouldn't be confident that Starfield won't be delayed again, but
I'm going to be very curious to see the numbers on Persona on Xbox because I feel like anyone that really wants to play Persona just bought a PlayStation. Like,
yeah, I think you're right.
so
It's probably like Dragon Quest 11, where there's a few people who are like, "Hey, I have an Xbox, I guess."
I think Persona 5 is one of the best, Royal in particular, it's one of the best games ever. So I'm glad Xbox people are getting a chance to play it, but we'll see. We'll see
Yeah,
if anyone does.
I mean, if you judge a conference based on things that you're actually interested in, I think for me this is pretty weak. But the things that are there that I'm interested in are pretty cool. So, you know,
Yeah,
I, I,
I will
I
give it a
can't say I
solid
was
C
like
plus.
I didn't feel the way I did after the Summer Games Fest, which is like, oh God.
Summer Games Fest where it's like, I don't know if I'm going to play any new games ever again.
Yeah,
Uh,
this is like, oh, I will probably play a few new games at some point.
yeah.
You know.
So,
So,
so
should we talk Nintendo?
yes, but would you agree with me? Solid C plus.
Yeah, I think C plus, maybe just C vanilla.
Yeah, it was,
No higher.
not
No
the
higher.
worst conference I ever saw, not the best conference, just in
Yep.
the
You know what
middle.
they say? If you're right 52% of the time, you're wrong 48% of the time.
That's correct. So yes, let's talk about Nintendo. We don't know for sure, but we assume that there will be a conference or a direct, I should say, uh,
Seems likely.
on Tuesday or Wednesday. My bet's on Tuesday because that is the E3 tradition, but we will see.
Nintendo hates tradition. They love bucking tradition. Well, they kind of hate tradition.
The reason this seems very likely is because we know literally nothing about their second half of the year. Um,
We know Splatoon 3,
we know
but
Splatoon's 3, but we know that Breath of the Wild has been pushed to 2023. So that was their big game. Oh, we know Pokemon. So we know two things.
there was some suggestion that they might just do Twitter stuff, but I really don't think so.
I would be surprised.
Yeah, they like it seemed like they were starting to ramp that up, but it actually ended up just being like basically a daily dose of Xenoblade Chronicles 3 for those of you who are inclined to that kind of thing.
Yeah. So like, and I think they'll have a separate, like they'll announce during that the new Nintendo Direct that there is a separate Xenoblade 3 Direct coming out. So
For I don't know why you need one. I mean, obviously
they did it
anybody
for
who's
two.
I
So
know, but anybody who's weird enough to like those games is
I mean, I'm in. I don't need to see a trailer. I'm
yeah.
buying it.
I
So
mean, I have to finish one, which I do like, so I cannot judge too bad.
uh,
Those are good games.
so basically, I guess the question is, what do you think is coming out this year?
I took notes. Would you like me to go through my notes?
Sure.
Okay. Well, let's start here. I think that they will show new NSO systems as the 64. They announced a big batch of games
They have
have
run
been
out.
coming, and they have run out as of Pokemon Snap, which will
Yeah.
be, I assume, releasing soon, like next
Yes.
week.
Yeah.
Um, so I suspect instead of announcing another batch of 64 games, I think what they'll do is what they've done with Super Nintendo and NES and make those irregular updates, much to my chagrin, and they'll use this as a chance to throw in those Game Boy and Game Boy Color emulators that everyone says are totally real.
Game Boy Advance.
Maybe Game Boy Advance too.
Have to do Game Boy Advance.
Well, I don't think they have to do anything, but
Well,
yeah.
if you're gonna introduce one, like Game Boy Advance is the money.
Well, I mean, Game Boy Advance is pretty great, but yes, I mean, I'm with you, but I think for sure Game Boy Color. Um, I did have GoldenEye penciled in, but I also it was penciled in because I thought, I guess GoldenEye's the movie's anniversary is in August, so that game is definitely happening. I guess it just might be maybe they'll do it later. I don't know, but I think Nintendo's going to put it on 64 app, but I definitely don't think it's being announced tomorrow now
I don't either.
or Tuesday or whatever.
Well, unless it really is a joint Microsoft Nintendo thing, and that Microsoft said Nintendo, you can
Well,
announce
I
it.
think it had to be a joint thing, but I would assume that they would have to like in the same way that like back in the golden era of comics, or not the golden era, Marvel and DC had to like argue about who would win in their little showdown comics. You know, I'm sure Nintendo and Microsoft would argue about who gets, you know, how they're going to do this, and they're going to collaborate on this or whatever.
It's funny we're making predictions for something that we think will happen on Tuesday. So if we're way out of if we're way wrong, you can make fun of us. That'll be fun.
Yes, yeah, we're making predictions about a thing we predict will happen.
I'm gonna agree, by the way, about
Yeah.
the Game Boy thing. But I do think Game Boy Advance will be on there, and I think they will launch with both Advance Wars 1 and 2, and
Oh,
it will
okay.
coincide with a
Both?
drop. Yes, it will coincide with a drop of Advance Wars the remake. They'll say it's out
See,
now.
I don't think they're gonna shadow drop Advance Wars.
I do because it
That's
is.
so big.
It's not really a big game. I don't
I
think they
guess it's
expected it to
not.
be like a. I don't think they expected it to be like a system seller. Otherwise, they wouldn't have
No,
delayed it in the first
obviously.
place.
I mean, if they think that's a system seller, then they have
They're
more
crazy.
questionable thinking than I already believed.
I think those will be like the long-awaited Advance Wars remake is out right now.
I mean, I certainly think it's gonna be soon because I think that for people who don't live in the Ukraine and Russia, that has stopped becoming a daily thing. Not that it's not still terrible; it is, but human nature is that when you're not exposed to something all the time,
Right.
it kind of fades in the background. So I think,
You don't hear about it every day
no, I
anymore.
think we're past the period where it's like unthinkable, even though I never really thought it was unthinkable to release Advance Wars. I was thinking August, just because if you look at their schedule, this month had Strikers and a few indie things. July has Xenoblade and September has Splatoon. Well, then what would be better than just throwing this into August?
Agreed.
But I mean, I guess I wouldn't be like flabbergasted if it shadow dropped, especially given it was supposed to be out in April. I think it'll be there. I think it has to be there.
I hope so. I've
Um,
been waiting.
I think it does, because if it's not there, I'm actually going to start to get worried about it.
Me too.
Even though it's a game that is complete, I'll
It
start to
is
worry that
done.
it was just like a victim of bad timing, which would just be fitting for that series. Anything else you think would launch on there? Like my hopes would be, I really like my number one priority would be Donkey Kong for the Game Boy. That's like my number one with a bullet. I want to play through that game on the Switch.
Donkey Kong 93 would be a launch game. Yes.
94.
Whatever.
Wait, is it
90s.
93?
I don't know. It's
Maybe
Donkey
it's
Kong
93. It's a
90s
year.
game.
Yeah, it's a 90s game. Donkey Kong on the Game Boy. Both Mario Lands, of course.
Yeah, I mean, I think Minish Cap would be a launch game if I'm
Yes.
talking GBA. Oracle
Yes.
of Ages and Seasons for Game Boy Color.
Yes, those are important. They must be there.
The F-Zero GBA game, the one that no one
Yes, for
played, but
sure.
it was a launch. Kirby and the Amazing Mirror, or no, Meta Nightmare, whatever. One of those.
Nightmare. Wait, Revenge of. I don't know what that
Revenge of
game is
Meta
called,
Knight.
actually. No, it's not. It's not called Revenge of Meta Knight, but Meta Knight's on the cover. Nightmare in Dreamland.
Okay, that will be one.
Kirby's Dreamland on the Game Boy. That's another high priority for me. I love
You
that
got to
game.
think of a literally Who Game Boy Advance game.
I said Boktai.
Oh, well, you got to have the sun though.
They're going to release, in the same way that they released a 64 controller, they're going
The
to
sun
release
sensor.
a special solar panel
That would be amazing.
for $80.
That would be crazy.
It's going to be Bluetooth capable. It's going to be sweet. You're gonna go outside, hold it outside for a little bit, and run back inside and play Boktai.
I would say Pokemon Pinball and Pokemon Pinball GS or whatever, or not. No, Ruby Sapphire for the Game Boy Advance.
Yes, I would like that very much. Literally, who they could do the Game Boy game for whom the bell tolls, or whatever it is.
I don't know what that is.
That is
so
literally who Nintendo
that
game.
would
Look
be,
it up.
yeah.
It would be something they would do.
Maybe Grunty's Revenge, that Banjo Game Boy Advance game.
Yeah, that's not a very good game.
Yeah, but it's something they'd put on
This
there.
is a good time to aside to another literally who game they did once. I played Stunt Race FX because my son wanted to see race cars, and I thought I would load that game up. And that game is, I hate the phrase literally unplayable. That game might be literally unplayable.
The game sucks. Yeah.
That is a bad game.
I don't know why they put it on there.
Well, I'm glad they did, but boy, is it bad. I would have hated to open that on Christmas.
Same. Oh, WarioWare. That's an easy one.
Oh, God. Gotta have Wario Land, all of them.
Yeah.
Those are
easy.
all fantastic games.
Yeah, but I can't think of like a obscure one or like a weird one that would like be an obvious.
Speaking of, should I play Shantae? I feel like I should play Shantae.
I haven't played it. I think the people that played it are into it are weird.
Are they? Okay, well, I just feel like it's always mentioned as like a great platforming series.
People talk about it. And
it's on sale on the Switch. I'm like, man, maybe I should play Shantae.
I mean, I think I want to play it at some point, but people that are into it weird me out, so I don't know.
I've never met anybody who's played Shantae, but I always see it and go, I should probably play that. I'd probably like it.
I think they're just horny for the main character, but I would like to play it to determine if it's good or not.
I'm not horny for the main character, but I would still play it. I am horny for the characters in Mario Strikers, which I think, obviously, as it is a Nintendo sports game, they have plans for ongoing support, i.e. things that they held back so that you would keep playing. So I think they'll have the first character shown, and they'll have a date. So the way that the online works is there's two different online modes, and one of them is much like the Wii game was. It's like divided into seasons, and there's off season and regular season. So right now it's in the off season while people, get their clubs set up. So I suspect that they will announce a character coming in a week, because the season starts in roughly a week from Monday.
Okay.
So I think it'll be Daisy.
It's a good guess. I'm not gonna lie, that's a good guess.
Daisy's not in the base game, and everybody was really, really mad. So,
Yeah, I think you're probably right on that.
I mean, I can just say this as an aside. I mean, what the hell? Why is Daisy not in there and Rosalina is?
They're trying to
I'm
make
so
Rosalina the new
over
number two.
the Rosalina. Rosalina is the lightning of the Mario franchise.
That's harsh criticism, but I don't
Like, I
disagree.
don't hate Rosalina, but I'm tired of Rosalina being forced as this,
So
like,
are you saying it's like Miyamoto's waifu, like how Lightning is what's his name?
yes.
Yeah.
Because, like, I mean, Daisy is like a Mario Sports icon.
Yes.
Daisy should be in this game.
Her and Waluigi.
Also, PD Piranha should be in this game, and he should be the goalie.
PD Piranha should be relegated to non-playable status.
Actually, you're right. PD Piranha is an argument for Roe v. Wade to be upheld.
Yes.
So yeah, I think Strikers will be there in the same way that any Nintendo game that just released is always there, and everybody kind of rolls their eyes like,
They're gonna waste their time with
all
Xenoblade.
right, yes, yes.
Fire Emblem's Three Hopes will get
Or
time,
like when they
even
have
though
like the game coming out in a week. Yeah, like Fire Emblem Three Hopes. Hey, don't forget to check out Fire Emblem Three Hopes next week, and don't forget to download the demo today. Progress carries over.
I know I'm getting it. I don't need to be sold anymore. It's okay.
So I think on a well, this is not a similar note at all. I'm really stretching. So it is a Nintendo conference, so naturally ports are going to be a topic of discussion.
Yes.
So I penciled in that I think that the always rumored Twilight Princess and Wind Waker ports will be announced for October. But
Yes,
I
agreed.
do not think the Prime remaster will show up here. I think it'll show up in September. And that will release in November, but I'm not predicting that showcase. So
I agree with you. I think it is time for the Twilight Princess and Wind Waker collection to come up.
I think in Nintendo's head that Metroid is like it got its time last year and it would be like overexposure to put it here, which is silly. But I think that they're in their eyes they need to make good for Breath of the Wild. So
Yeah, so that's the Zelda. Yeah.
yeah.
And I agree. That is perfect logic. So I think that's why they will do that.
Well, it's not perfect logic, it's Nintendo logic.
Well, that's what I mean. Like
Because perfect logic would be these games are done, let's release them.
Yes, agreed. You're right. And I think it's pretty obvious if Persona 4, 3, and 5 don't show up tomorrow, they're just not going to happen.
Yeah, I have those in as something I think will be coming. And I think actually, because of that being a Sega thing, I think a Yakuza of some kind will be shown.
All right, so our recording abruptly cut off, and we thought we lost everything, but turns out we did not.
I think it was the Nintendo Ninjas shutting us down for getting too close to the truth.
Preemptive strike.
Yeah.
But we cut off when Cheston had just mentioned that he thinks the Yakuza is coming. So let's hit him up with a couple of our big predictions. So go ahead.
Jokes on them when they cut us off. I talked about all the illegal ROMs I've been dumping.
Exactly.
I mean, I think my big prediction that would carry a lot of my Little Road predictions would be that I think that the show will be kind of underwhelming if you're like really into big time stuff, so to speak, for lack of a better term. I think it's going to be old stuff for old people like me and you. I think that stuff will be pretty exciting. I think Breath of the Wild 2 will be there in a very minimal presence.
Gotta be there. We haven't seen anything.
But I think it'll be exceptionally minimal, as is tradition. Metroid Prime 4, hilarious. Never showing up until it does, which is not this year. I don't think. You're not getting 2 in a row, Metroid fans. I think there'll be some fun little things, some fun little indies, some fun NSO systems, as I mentioned. Splatoon 3 will be there, and people will probably be kind of annoyed by it. But I think if you're looking for the next Mario, the next Zelda, the next Metroid, the next Donkey Kong, the next whatever, I think you'll probably be disappointed.
I agree with you that Breath of the Wild 2 will be minimal because they're just going to show a little bit of that. And also, we're releasing this next year, and that's when the Zelda compilation will come up that we mentioned earlier. I disagree with you on Mario. I think we are due. It's been 5 years since the last one. I feel like Zelda and Mario on similar cycles. So I think that Bowser's Fury thing that was released with 3D World was the glorified demo for what we're going to get.
You're saying a bunch of Nintendo characters got together and aligned their cycles.
Yes, I do say that. I do think so. Because Breath of the Wild and Mario Odyssey came out the same year, shockingly. two of the best games on the
It is
Switch.
kind of crazy in hindsight to think that that happened all in 1 year.
Yes, it is.
And Splatoon and ARMS.
Yes, so that was a big year.
Who could forget ARMS?
I do not think it'll be Mario Odyssey 2. I think if it was just 2, they would have released it by now.
That would be kind of unprecedented, though.
Well, Galaxy 2 came out pretty quickly after 1.
But but I mean, like, having two Marios on the same system that are both unique, like, they haven't done that
That's fair.
ever.
But I think, like, a sequel to a Mario game is quicker than a Zelda game. Because all people would expect that of a new Mario.
Hope so.
All people would expect that of a new Mario is like new cap transformations. So if it was going to be a straight sequel, I think we would have got it already. So that's why I think it'll be something new.
I mean, you do have to remember that Nintendo is notorious for now finishing games and just sitting on them.
So that's true. It could have been sat on, but to wait 5 years for, like when Galaxy 2 came out, it felt like like a map expansion pack. Like it was a great game, but it did nothing different really. So if this was another one of those situations, 5 years is a long time to wait for that. So I would be surprised, but I'm wrong all the time. So what do you
I
think?
forgot my final prediction.
Yes,
Pikmin 4, obviously.
the one that's been sat on for ages.
Yeah, for real this time.
Yeah.
Miyamoto said we're almost done, but you have to remember that he's a time traveler, and he traveled in time from the year 2022, where he was almost done.
Yeah, I guess I wouldn't be surprised.
I would be terribly surprised.
So it sounds like from what you're saying is that this conference will be something you and I will enjoy, but the internet as a whole will be like, eh.
I mean, to be fair, that kind of tends to be the case with most of these, because at this point, I'm pretty easy to satisfy.
Oh, me too.
Because realistically, I'm going to get to a lot less of these things than, I don't know. To me, whenever I see commentary on the internet, it strikes me as coming from either people who are excessively young or excessively not tied down in any way to anything else.
Right.
So it's like if there's not 30,000 things for them, they're going to consider it a bad direct. For me, it's like if I hit, last year I saw Dread, that was enough right there.
Well, it's like what the State of Play that was on like a week or so ago. I thought that was pretty solid for a Sony State of Play.
For State of Play, that was like a masterpiece for them.
For those are usually bad, but I thought this one was pretty solid. And the commentary and the live chat was like, "That's it, Z Z Z Z Z." It's like, well, I just don't relate to these people.
I don't have 16 and Street Fighter 6.
Yeah, I mean that's all I needed. Like,
come on.
But look forward to Tuesday or Wednesday to see how wrong we are, or if they don't have a show at all, make fun of us for our optimism because we once recorded a Nintendo Direct prediction show for a Direct that never happened.
Oh yes, the secret hidden episode,
the lost episode, along with Mario Sunshine Redemption arc.
yes, all good stuff that's in the can for one day.
For one day.
And when we release our best of DVD, we need something to fill the special features section.
Yes, complete unedited audio. You know, all the ums and uhs, like you were there with us.
Yeah, I think they're gonna release another Mario
at some point.
I think the 3D All Stars will be there.
It wasn't.
It was at that direct. Oh, that direct didn't happen though.
It didn't happen exactly.
Yeah, they had a Mario direct. Oh God, what a terrible year that was. For
so
many reasons.
Not a good one.
But the only one I choose to focus on is this one.
Well, hopefully we will be back to normal next week or sometime soon. It's been a busy summer.
What is normal after Ninja Turtles? I ask you.
Well, this would be nice to record weekly at some point.
Yeah, I mean,
it's summer. What do you want from us? But you can reach us at alltodaypodcast@gmail.com or on Twitter @alltodaypod. This is Derek.
And Cheston.
We'll see you next time. Goodbye.
See you later.